Okay, first of all, congratulations to Blue Origin for a successful test flight. So check out this tweet from Virgin Galactic on 20th of July. It continues to be a great time for commercial space travel. We are encouraged by seeing more people exploring and conducting research in space and creating a positive impact here on Earth. Congrats to Blue Origin on today's successful test flight. Together we'll open up space for good. Okay, so it wasn't only good for Blue Origin, it was also good for Virgin Galactic. Check out this Google Trends space stock, and you'll see that the interest peaked at 100 on July the 20th when the Blue Origin test flight was successful. So thank you to them. Let's check out the stock price now. You can see that we ended today's trading day at $29.58. So we're actually holding nicely around the $30 region. You can see that interest in terms of the stock price peaked at around $53 on Thursday the 8th of July, and then just before the test flight happened we were at around $50. Right after the test flight you can see that we dropped about 17.3%, and that was due to the announcement of the $500 million stock offering, and since then we've dropped about 38%. We hit about $30 and we've managed to stay around the $30 region over the past week or so, which I actually predicted in terms of a nice support level at $30. Now, it's quite a dangerous level because if we don't have any positive news coming soon, we could potentially drop right below this $30 region, and after that we're looking at the teens potentially. So what do I think is the next best positive catalyst coming up? Well, as we know, we completed our successful test flight with Richard Branson on July the 11th, 2021. So what's next? So in terms of commercial services, the company launches commercial services following the completion of its test flight program. Now, if we have a look at the test flight program, you can see this is it. It's 4 test flights. Now, we've completed the first flight and the second flight, but we've still got the third flight and the fourth flight left. So obviously the next best catalyst will be the third flight, and that will be the announcement of the third flight and also the successful actual completion of the test flight. So what do I think about the third test flight? Well, before I go into that, I'll be grateful if you could smash this like button and subscribe to the channel for future updates. Okay, let's have a look. So one thing we do know that's quite exciting about the next test flight is that the former Virgin Galactic CEO, who is George Whitesides, who actually was the CEO between I think 2010 and 2020, so for 10 years he was the CEO. He's due to launch on the company's next spaceflight test. And how do we know that? Sir Richard Branson actually announced it on July the 11th in Las Cruces, right after his own actual test flight and when he was thanking George Whitesides. So check this out, quote, "When Branson thanked George, he offhand very casually said, 'And George will be leading our next flight,' and people cheered," end quote. So basically George Whitesides being on the next test flight is very good because he's obviously been a CEO for 10 years and he knows the company well, he loves the company, so it would be very exciting to see him as the leader for the next test flight. So that's quite exciting. What do CNBC actually think in terms of when this test flight can happen? So they actually think it can happen in late August or early September. I'm going to tell you why I think it's going to be earlier than that. But check this out. So the launch's timing is yet unknown, but Virgin Galactic has previously said it aimed to complete its next 2 spaceflight tests this summer. So there was a 50-day gap between Virgin Galactic's last 2 spaceflights. So that's between May the 22nd and July the 11th, there was a 50-day gap. So Whiteside's launch may happen in late August or early September if the company takes a similar amount of time to prepare. So if we imagine between the test flight on May the 22nd, which was the first test flight, and July the 11th, which was the second one, which included Richard Branson, that was a 50-day gap. If we had another 50 days between the July the 11th, we'd see the next test flight on 30th of August, which is a Monday, and in 2021. But the reason why I don't think we're going to see it that late is because the first test flight, which was the May the 22nd, had a lot of analyzing to be done because we had issues with electromagnetic interference and horizontal stabilizers. So there needed to be a lot of analysis in terms of the fact that we had a lot of changes being made before that test flight, so a lot of analysis had to be done. Whereas with the second test flight, things went very smoothly and there weren't really any major problems that were noted. And so that's why I think between the second and third test flight, there's going to be a much smaller gap in terms of time frame. And how do I think it's going to play out? I think it's going to play out like this. So as we know, the second test flight happened on the 11th of July. So currently we're on Friday, the 23rd of July, and we know that in 2 weeks' time, so the 5th of August, we are going to have the Q2 earnings conference. And I think during this conference, it'll be a good time to actually announce the test flight. And the reason for that is because we know that usually the earnings calls are a negative catalyst for the stock. Usually because we're not making any money, the stock price actually goes down during the earnings call. And at the same time, an announcement of a test flight causes the stock price to go up. So it's actually a positive catalyst for the stock price. So if we actually announce the test flight schedule for the third test flight on 5th of August on the earnings call, you're going to put together a negative catalyst, which is the earnings call, and then with a positive catalyst, which is the announcement of the next test flight, and that's going to counteract each other. And usually when they announce a test flight, is within the next few weeks, and I personally think that it's going to be either the weekend of 14th to 15th of August or 21st to 22nd of August. And hopefully we do get an announcement very soon, and hopefully this keeps the stock price around the $30 region for long enough so that we actually can maintain that $30 level in terms of the stock price. And then once we have a successful test flight in August, hopefully that will take the stock above $30. So that's what I'm hoping for. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think is going to happen in terms of the announcement of the next test flight, and how do you think the stock is going to react? Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for future updates. Thank you, take care, see you in the next one.